Tom lived alone near the edge of a thick forest. He was a quiet man, kind-hearted, and liked peaceful days. His small wooden house stood far from the noisy town. Every morning, he fed the birds, chopped firewood, and listened to the wind move through the trees. He liked silence. He didn't need much. He had his books, a dog named Max, and the stars above. One night, just after dinner, Tom heard a loud sound in the distance. It was sharp and strange, not like thunder or wind. Max barked and ran to the door. Tom stepped outside. The sky was dark, but something flashed above the trees. A bright streak of light cut through the sky, followed by a heavy crash that shook the ground. Tom stood still for a moment. Then he grabbed his coat, called Max, and walked into the forest. The trees were quiet now, but the air smelled different, like hot metal and smoke. He moved carefully, stepping over roots and pushing through branches. Max stayed close beside him. After 20 minutes of walking, Tom saw something between the trees. A strange shape rested in a clearing. It was a small ship, silver and smooth, like a bubble from another world. Steam rose from its sides. One part of the ship was broken, with small fires around the edges. Tom moved closer. He looked inside through a cracked window. There was someone inside. Tom's heart beat faster. It was a girl. Not a human girl, but close. She had light green skin and silver hair, short and soft. Her eyes were large and shining. She sat curled in a corner, hugging her knees. She looked afraid and weak. Tom tried to speak. "Hey, are you hurt?" She looked at him but said nothing. Her eyes were full of fear. She moved slowly, then tried to stand, but her leg gave out and she fell. Tom opened the door of the ship, which made a soft hiss. The inside was filled with strange lights and smells, but he didn't care. He stepped inside and held out his hand. She looked at it for a long time. Then, slowly, she reached forward and touched his fingers. Her hand was warm and light. "It's okay," Tom said softly. "I won't hurt you." She stood with his help. Her body shook a little, like she had been cold or scared for too long. Tom gently helped her out of the ship. Max wagged his tail, but didn't bark. The girl looked at the dog, confused, but not scared. Tom didn't know what to say. This was not something that happened in real life. But then, something strange happened. The girl moved closer and wrapped her arms around Tom's neck. She hugged him, quietly, gently. She didn't say thank you. She didn't speak at all. But that hug said everything. Tom stood still, surprised. Her head rested on his shoulder for a moment. Her eyes closed. She seemed calm now, like she knew she was safe. Tom whispered, "You're okay now." He looked back at the broken ship. Flames were gone, but the damage was clear. It would not fly again anytime soon. He couldn't leave her here. Someone might find the ship. She needed help. He helped her walk slowly back to his house. It took longer because she limped, and they had to move through trees and hills. But she didn't complain. She looked around like she was trying to understand everything: the wind, the moon, the stars, the trees. When they reached the house, Tom opened the door. He helped her sit on a soft chair near the fireplace. She touched the fabric, then looked at the fire. Her eyes grew wide. Fire seemed new to her, or maybe it reminded her of the crash. Tom gave her a warm blanket. She wrapped it around her shoulders and sat quietly. "I guess I should give you a name," Tom said with a small smile, "since I don't know yours." She looked at him and blinked slowly. Her silver hair fell across her forehead. "How about Mira?" he asked. "It means wonder." She didn't answer, but she smiled, a small smile, soft and real. That was enough. Tom made her a bowl of warm soup. She didn't know how to use the spoon at first, so he showed her. She copied him, slowly, carefully. After the first taste, her eyes lit up. She finished the soup quickly. Then she gave him another hug, quiet, full of thanks. That night, Mira slept on the couch, curled under the blanket. Max slept beside her. Tom sat in his chair, watching the fire. His life had changed in one evening. He had found someone from another world, someone lost and alone. But somehow, he didn't feel afraid. He felt calm. She didn't speak. She didn't explain anything. But her actions were clear. When he saved her, she didn't thank him with words. She just hugged his neck, and that hug said more than any words ever could. Tom didn't sleep much that night. He sat near the fire, watching the flames dance and listening to the quiet sounds of the forest outside. Alari sat across from him. She didn't sleep either. She just stared at the fire, silent and calm, as if thinking about something far away. The air inside the cabin was warm, but Tom could feel something else, something deeper. It wasn't fear. It wasn't magic. It was like being near a mystery that was both beautiful and sad. In the morning, Tom made tea and handed a cup to Alari. She took it in both hands, smelled the steam, and drank slowly. Her eyes closed for a second. Then she opened them and looked at him. "You are kind," she said softly. Tom smiled. "You don't need to thank me." "I must," she said. "Kindness is rare in this galaxy." Tom sat down beside her. "Do you want to tell me who you really are?" Alari stayed quiet for a moment, then nodded. She stood up and walked to the window. Her voice was calm, but filled with a quiet weight. "I was once called a guardian," she began. "My people lived on a world named Elthera. We were a peaceful race. We protected knowledge, energy, and balance. I was chosen to hold the crystal that could grant wishes, but not for power, for peace." Tom listened carefully. Her voice was soft, but each word felt important. "One day, others came. They were from distant stars. They wanted the crystal. They did not believe in peace. They believed in control. My people were not strong in war. Many were taken, some vanished. So, I used the crystal to lock myself away, to keep the last piece of our power safe." Tom looked at the blue crystal she now carried again. It glowed gently in her hand. "You were asleep all that time?" he asked. "Not asleep," Alari replied. "I was aware. I could feel time. I watched the stars change. I felt the silence grow deeper. I waited for someone worthy, to find me." Tom felt a strange chill. "And I was the one." She turned to look at him. "Yes, you woke me. You were kind. You didn't ask for power or control. You asked for water, for energy for others, not yourself. That is why I stayed." Tom didn't know what to say. He had just done what felt right. Alari walked back to the chair and sat down. "But I must warn you," she said. "The last wish, it must come from truth. If your heart is not honest, the wish can become something else." Tom nodded slowly. "You said magic cannot force love." "Yes," she said, "because love is not a gift, it is a choice." They were quiet for a while. Outside, the wind blew through the trees. Birds sang in the distance. Max, Tom's dog, slept near the door, peaceful and still. Later that day, Tom and Alari walked into the forest together. Alari showed him places he had never seen, trees that whispered when the wind moved, stones that glowed with old light, and flowers that only bloomed in silence. "This forest was once part of my world's echo," she explained. "When Elthera fell, pieces of it scattered across the stars. This place holds some of its memory." Tom reached out and touched one of the glowing stones. It felt warm and alive. "Can others find this place?" he asked. "Not unless they carry the same light you carry," she said. Tom turned to her. "What light?" She didn't answer. She just smiled and kept walking. That evening, they sat near the lake. The sky turned orange and purple as the sun began to fall. Alari sat beside Tom on a fallen log. She looked at the sky, her eyes reflecting the colors. "I forgot how beautiful sunsets are," she whispered. Tom looked at her. The way the soft light touched her face, the way her silver hair moved in the wind, the calm peace in her voice. She was not just an alien being. She was someone who had lost everything and still chose to hope. "You've been alone a long time." Tom said. "Yes," she answered. "Longer than you can imagine." "Do you miss your people?" "Every moment." Tom didn't ask more. He didn't want to make her sad. Instead, he stood and picked up a flat stone. He threw it across the water. It skipped 5 times before sinking. Alari watched, then smiled. "Show me how." He gave her a stone and showed her how to hold it. She tried. It sank right away. Tom laughed gently. Try again. This time, the stone skipped once. Alari clapped softly. Better. As the stars appeared, they stayed by the water. No big words were needed. No wishes. No magic. Just simple peace. Later, back at the house, Tom gave her a small book. It's a story, he said. You might like it. She took the book in both hands, holding it like something special. Thank you, she said, for more than just saving me. Tom looked at her. You're not just a wish granter. You're someone with a story, and I want to hear more. Alari's eyes softened. Then maybe I will stay just a little longer. Tom nodded. He still had one wish left, but he was in no hurry to use it. Not yet. Each day felt new for Tom, not because of anything big or strange, but because Alari was still there. She stayed in his small cabin near the forest. She had no home, no world left, but she didn't seem lost anymore. Tom gave her space, but also gave her warmth. Slowly, a bond began to grow between them. They spent mornings fixing things together. Tom taught her how to use simple tools. She was fast at learning. She didn't speak much, but when she did, her words were thoughtful. Sometimes, she would ask questions about human things like cooking, music, or why people smiled even when they felt sad. Tom tried to answer the best he could. He didn't always have the right words, but Alari listened closely. She seemed to enjoy learning about humans, and Tom enjoyed showing her the small joys of life. One afternoon, they worked in the garden behind the cabin. Tom planted vegetables every year, but this time, he had help. Alari touched the soil gently, as if it was sacred. She hummed a soft tune that made the plants stand straighter. What is that song? Tom asked. It's a song from Elthera. Alari said. My people sang it to call the seasons. It's beautiful, Tom said. It feels good to remember, she whispered. Later that day, Tom showed her how to bake simple bread. Alari watched closely, then tried it herself. Her first loaf came out flat, but she smiled anyway. Tom laughed softly and said, Better than my first try. That evening, they sat on the porch with Max sleeping between them. The stars above were bright and endless. Alari looked up with wonder. Do you ever feel small under the stars? She asked. Sometimes, Tom said, but not in a bad way. Just reminds me there's more out there. There was a time I wanted to reach every star, she said. But now, I find peace in small things. Tom looked at her. Like baking flat bread? She laughed quietly. Yes, like that. That laugh stayed with Tom for a long time. The next morning, a group of people from the nearby colony came to visit. They had heard strange stories. Someone had seen a strange light in the forest weeks ago, and there were rumors of an alien presence. Tom stayed calm and greeted them kindly. Alari stayed inside, hidden. She listened to every word. Her eyes showed worry. Tom told the visitors he had only seen a meteor crash and nothing more. They believed him, though some still looked around with curious eyes. When they left, Alari stepped outside, her face unreadable. You didn't tell them about me, she said. I didn't think you were ready to be seen, Tom answered. She was quiet for a while. Then she said, You protected me. Tom nodded. Of course. Alari looked into his eyes. You could have used your last wish to send me away, to keep yourself safe. I didn't want that. He said softly, You're not a danger. Alari walked a few steps away, then turned back. You don't know what others might do if they find me. Then let's not let them, Tom said. You're not a tool. You're not a threat. You're someone who matters. Alari looked down, touched her own hand, and whispered, Thank you. Days passed, then weeks. Alari grew stronger. She started waking earlier, walking farther, smiling more. She helped animals in the forest, even healed a bird with a broken wing. Tom watched her with quiet respect. He started to think about the last wish more and more. Not because he wanted something big, but because he didn't want to make a mistake. He remembered her words clearly. Wishes must come from truth. One night, Tom sat near the lake, skipping stones. Alari joined him. Have you thought about your final wish? she asked. Yes, he said. But I'm not ready to say it yet. Are you afraid of it? I'm afraid it might not be the right thing. Alari nodded. You are wise too. Wait, Tom looked at her. Her silver hair moved gently in the breeze. The moonlight made her eyes shine. He wanted to say something, but the words stayed inside. I never thought I would feel close to anyone again, Alari said softly. But with you, I feel something I thought was gone forever. Tom turned toward her. She was staring at the water, her voice almost a whisper. I feel calm, she continued. I feel alive. Tom's heart beat faster. He wanted to tell her what he felt, but he didn't want to ruin the moment. Alari looked at him. If you ever speak your last, wish to speak it with your whole heart. I will, Tom said. And in that quiet night, surrounded by trees, stars, and still water, they both knew something had changed. They didn't need to say it. It was there, in the silence. In the way she sat closer to him, in the way he didn't move away. It was not magic. It was something real. Something human. Something true. It had been many quiet weeks since Tom found Alari in the forest. Their days were simple but peaceful. Tom had grown used to waking up and seeing her near the window, watching the sunrise. She always seemed thoughtful during those early hours. Sometimes she smiled when she noticed him watching her, and he always smiled back. But peace does not always last forever. One cold morning, as Tom was chopping wood outside, he noticed something strange in the sky. A dark shape moved slowly above the trees. It wasn't a bird. It wasn't a cloud. It was a ship. Tom narrowed his eyes. The ship was silent but large, like a dark shadow. It hovered low, then turned and disappeared beyond the hills. Tom went inside. Alari was standing near the door. She had seen it too. They're here, she said quietly. Who are they? Tom asked. Hunters, Alari replied. They searched for lost powers, for old magic. Tom felt a tight knot form in his chest. They're looking for you, she nodded. They must have sensed the crystal. They may not know exactly where I am yet, but they are close. Tom placed his hand on her shoulder. Then we'll hide you? Alari looked into his eyes. They won't stop easily. If they find out you helped me, they'll take you too. I don't care, Tom said. I'm not letting them take you. That afternoon, Tom packed supplies. He filled 2 bags, one with food, the other with tools and blankets. Alari helped. She moved quickly but calmly. Max barked, sensing something was wrong. Tom decided they had to leave the cabin. The forest was big. If they moved deep enough, maybe the hunters wouldn't find them before they left. Tom looked around the cabin one last time. He had built it with his own hands, but now it felt small and far away. They walked for hours through thick trees, across shallow streams, and up stony paths. Alari didn't speak much. Her eyes stayed sharp, always watching the sky. Tom kept Max close and listened for sounds behind them. By nightfall, they reached a rocky cave hidden by thick vines. Tom had found it long ago while exploring. It wasn't big, but it was dry and safe. They set up camp inside. That night, as the fire crackled softly, Alari looked at Tom. There is still time, she said. You can use your last wish to save yourself. Tom shook his head. No, I told you, I don't want to be safe without you. Alari said nothing. Her eyes grew soft. Then she looked away. You still don't understand what this wish means, she whispered. Maybe not, Tom said, but I know how I feel. The next morning, a loud sound echoed through the forest. A strange buzzing filled the air. Birds flew away in fear. Tom ran to the edge of the hill and looked out. A second ship had arrived. It hovered near the trees. Several tall figures in dark suits stepped out. They wore masks and carried strange devices. One of them held up a scanner. It blinked red, pointing toward the forest. They're tracking us, Tom said. Alari stepped beside him. Her hands glowed faintly. We must move again. But where? Tom asked. There is an ancient place north of here, she said. A place even they will not enter. If we reach it, we will be safe. They walked quickly. Alari's steps grew weaker as the day passed. She was using her energy to block the crystal's signal. To hide their presence, Tom could see the effort. It cost her. By sunset, they reached a cliff that overlooked a deep valley. In the middle stood a circle of stone pillars. Strange symbols were carved into them. The air around the place felt different, like time itself had slowed. Alari stopped and fell to her knees. Tom rushed to her side. "Are you okay? I just need to rest," she whispered. "The magic here is strong. It protects, but it also drains." Tom helped her to one of the stones. She leaned against it, breathing slowly. The sky above turned darker. Stars began to appear. The second ship hovered in the distance, far above. Then Tom saw something else. A man stepped out of the forest, tall and dressed in black armor. His mask had red lines across it. He held a long staff that glowed with blue light. Alari's eyes opened wide. "Varek," she said. "Who is he?" Tom asked. "The leader of the hunters." Alari answered. "He is not like the others. He knows how to bend wishes." Varek walked slowly toward them. He stopped just outside the circle of stones. "Give me the crystal," he said. "No one has to get hurt." Tom stepped in front of Alari. "She's not going anywhere. You are only human," Varek said calmly. "You don't understand what that crystal can do." "I don't care," Tom replied. "She's not a tool. She's not your prize." Varek raised his staff. "You still have one wish left, don't you?" Tom didn't answer. "Use it wisely," Varek warned, "or lose everything." Then he turned and walked back into the trees. Tom looked at Alari. Her eyes were tired, but she was still calm. "You didn't use the wish," she said. "I will," Tom said. "When the time is right." Alari reached for his hand. He took it gently. "You may be only human," she whispered, "but you have more strength than you know." As the wind moved softly through the stones, they sat together, waiting for whatever came next. The night was quiet round the stone circle, but Tom knew danger was close. He sat beside Alari, holding her hand as she rested against the stone. The stars above were bright, but Tom felt the weight of the moment more than their beauty. He didn't know what would happen next, but he knew one thing: he would not leave her alone. Alari opened her eyes slowly. Her face looked pale, and her voice was soft. "Varek will come again. He will not give up." Tom nodded. "Let him come." "I'm not afraid." "You should be," Alari whispered. "He is clever. He knows how to twist a wish to his side." Tom looked at the blue crystal in her hand. It still glowed faintly. Then, "I'll be careful," he said. "But I won't use the wish just to stop him. I've already decided." Alari turned to look at him. "You've decided your last wish?" Tom took a deep breath. "Yes." She stared at him for a long moment. Her eyes, usually calm like the stars, now looked uncertain. "What is it?" Tom held her hand tighter. "I want you." The words hung in the air like a silent bell. The wind paused. The stars seemed to blink slower. Alari didn't move. She didn't blink. Her face went still, her breath quiet. It was like the whole world had stopped just to listen. "You want me?" she said in a quiet voice. Tom nodded once. "Yes, not because of the crystal, not because of magic, because I care about you. I want to be with you, if that's what you want to." Alari's lips parted slightly, but no words came out. Her hands trembled. She stood up slowly and walked a few steps away. Her eyes were wide and her shoulders stiff. Tom waited. He didn't want to rush her. Finally, she turned to face him. "No one has ever wished for me," she said. "Not like this." Tom stood too. "You don't have to accept it. The wish won't force you." "That's why I'm frozen," she said. "Because I don't feel trapped. I feel seen." The crystal in her hand glowed brighter, not with magic but with warmth. She looked down at it and then back at Tom. "I was made to give," she whispered. "To serve, to help, to protect. I was not made to be chosen, not by heart." Tom stepped closer. "You are not something to be used. You are someone to be loved." A single tear rolled down her cheek. Then she smiled. "I don't need the magic to tell me," she said. "I already know what I feel." Tom felt her hands wrap around his. She placed the crystal in his palm. "The wish is real," she said. "But so is my answer." Suddenly, a sound echoed through the forest. The crack of a tree falling. Then another. The circle of stones trembled. Max growled low beside Tom. Varric had returned. This time, he didn't come alone. 3 other hunters stepped into the clearing. They stood at the edge of the stone circle, watching carefully. Their eyes were hidden behind silver masks. Their weapons hummed with quiet power. Varric raised his staff. So, you made your choice. Tom stood tall. Yes, I used my last wish. I wished for her. The crystal glowed in Tom's hand, then slowly turned to dust. It floated up like light snow and vanished into the stars. Varric tilted his head. You wasted it. No, Tom said. I used it right. Varric stepped forward but stopped at the edge of the circle. You think love can stop me? I don't need to stop you, Tom said. I just need to protect her, and she's not alone anymore. Alari stepped beside Tom. Her eyes were bright now, and her voice was steady. You came for power, she said. But the power you seek is gone. It was never meant to be taken. It was meant to be shared. Varric lifted his staff, ready to strike Dot, but then the stones around the circle began to glow. One by one, the ancient symbols lit up with golden light. A low hum filled the air. The ground shook gently, and wind swirled around the clearing. Alari's hair moved like waves in the wind. Her feet lifted just slightly above the ground. She closed her eyes. You tried to take, she said. But love was stronger. Varric stepped back. The light from the stones grew brighter. The hunters behind him hesitated. The power was not what they expected. It was not fire or force. It was calm, pure, and deep. The wind pushed them back slowly, as if the forest itself was rejecting them. One of the hunters dropped his weapon. Another turned and ran. Varric stood frozen for a moment. Then the light from the circle pulsed once, strong and clear. He was gone. Just like that. The threat had ended, not with a fight, but with a choice. Alari slowly returned to the ground. The glow round her faded. She looked tired but peaceful. Tom caught her as she leaned forward. You did it, he said softly. No, she replied. We did. They sat on the grass inside the stone circle. Max lay beside them, resting. Tom held Alari's hand. You're free now, he said. Alari nodded. Yes, for the first time in my life. I am truly free. What will you do now? Tom asked. She looked up at the stars. I don't know, but wherever I go, I want to walk beside you. Tom smiled. Then we'll walk together. No more wishes. Just one path, one choice, one future. Together. Tom woke early the next morning. The forest around the stone circle was calm. Birds sang soft songs from the trees, and golden light touched the grass. Max was already awake, sitting quietly near the edge, watching the woods. Alari stood by one of the tall stones, her eyes closed. The sunlight danced across her face. Her long silver hair moved gently in the morning breeze. Tom walked to her side. You're up early, he said with a smile. I didn't sleep, she answered, still facing the stone. Not because of worry. I just didn't want to miss anything. Tom looked around. It's peaceful now. Alari nodded. Yes, for now. But the world is wide. Varric was just one voice in a larger song. Others may come one day. Then we face them together. Tom said. She looked at him. Her eyes held a calm strength now. Are you sure, Tom? You could return to your home. Go back to your life. Tom shook his head. My old life was empty. You've shown me a new one. I don't want to go back. Alari looked at the stone circle one last time. Then she touched the center stone gently. A soft light spread from her hand and faded. What did you do? Tom asked. I said goodbye, she replied. This place gave me life. But now it's time to move forward. They packed what little they had. Max followed behind as they left the clearing. The trees opened into wide grasslands, and the sun rose higher into the sky. Alari walked beside Tom, showing him flowers that glowed softly and trees that hummed when the wind touched their leaves. He listened to every word, amazed at how much beauty the world still held. As they walked, they found signs of old roads, stone paths broken by time and covered in moss. Alari explained they were from her people long ago. My kind once walked freely across this land. She said, before fear and greed changed everything. Tom looked at her. Do you want to find them again? She paused for a moment. Yes. Not to bring back the past, but to build something new. They stopped by a clear stream and drank the cool water. Max barked happily and splashed around. Tom laughed and Alari smiled softly. That night, they made camp under the stars. The sky was full of light. Alari sat close beside Tom, her head resting on his shoulder. Do you ever wonder why the stars are so quiet? She asked. Tom thought for a moment. Maybe they're listening. She smiled. Maybe. The next morning, they reached a wide valley. In the distance stood a strange tower. It shimmered slightly, like it didn't fully belong in the world. Alari's face turned serious. That's not from my people. It's newer, and not from this planet. Tom narrowed his eyes. Do you think it's trouble? I don't know, but we should be careful. They walked slowly toward the tower. As they got closer, they saw strange symbols on its surface. The air around it felt sharp, like static before a storm. Then they saw movement. A door opened, and a figure stepped out. It was tall, wearing smooth white armor. Its face was covered by a black shield. Tom and Alari stopped. The figure raised a hand. I come in peace, it said in a calm voice. Alari stepped forward. Who are you? I am part of the Seekers, the figure said. We study energy across many worlds. We felt the signal from the crystal you destroyed. Tom and Alari exchanged a glance. We didn't destroy it, Tom said. I used it for a wish. The Seeker nodded. Yes, that is why we are here. You ended its cycle. The energy is free now. You may not understand what that means, but it has drawn attention. Alari frowned. What kind of attention? The Seeker's voice was steady. Good and bad. Some will seek to learn. Others will seek to take. Tom crossed his arms. We're not giving anything. We don't want to take, said the Seeker. We want to understand. Alari stepped forward. Then understand this. The power was born from a heart's choice. Not from force. Not from fear. The Seeker tilted its head. Then you are wiser than many we have met. The Seeker looked up at the sky. A small ship floated above the tower. It blinked once and moved silently across the sky, disappearing. Behind clouds, I will tell others not to disturb you, the Seeker said. But I cannot promise all will listen. Alari nodded. Then we'll be ready. The Seeker stepped back into the tower. The door closed, and the building slowly faded from sight like mist in the wind. Tom looked at Alari. So, what now? She smiled. We walk. We find others who still believe in peace. We build something better. He nodded. Together, they held hands and walked down the valley path. Max ran ahead, tail wagging. The stars still watched above. Into hearts from different worlds kept walking forward step by step toward a future they would make themselves. Tom, Alari, and Max continued walking through the valley. The grass swayed gently in the wind, and the sky stayed clear for days. They followed no map, only the direction their hearts pointed. One afternoon, they reached a hill with a wide view of the land. Below, they saw small homes made of smooth stone and wood. People were moving about. Some wore simple robes, and some had tools in their hands. They looked like farmers and builders. Alari's eyes brightened. I think they are like the old, kind, peaceful builders, not destroyers. Tom smiled. Let's meet them. As they walked into the village, people turned to look. At first, there was silence. Then one of the elders, a woman with silver hair and calm eyes, stepped forward. You are not from here, the elder said gently. Alari bowed her head. No, but we come with peace. The elder looked at Tom. You're human. Yes, he said. I came by accident, but I stay by choice. The elder nodded. Then you are welcome here. The villagers offered food and water. They showed them where they could rest. Children came close to Max and laughed when he barked playfully. Tom helped fix a broken cart. Alari spoke with the village healers and taught them some of her knowledge. Over the next few days, Tom and Alari worked beside the villagers. They learned their ways and shared their own. Alari showed them how to grow stronger crops using gentle energy from the soil. Tom helped build a tower to watch the sky for signs of danger. One night, while the stars filled the sky, the village gathered near a fire. Music played from simple instruments, and voices sang soft songs of the old times. The elder looked at Tom and asked, "Do you still have a wish left?" Tom glanced at Alari. She was sitting beside him, watching the flames, her eyes full of light. "I used my last wish," he said softly. "I wished for her." The elder smiled. "Then you used it well." Later that night, Tom and Alari stood alone near the edge of the village. The stars above them felt closer than ever. Alari spoke quietly. "When you made that wish, I didn't know what to feel. I thought I was just a tool of the crystal, a gift for a human." Tom shook his head. "You were never just a gift. You were the reason the crystal mattered." She turned to him. "I was scared. But then I saw your heart. I saw how you treated others, how you listened, how you loved, without taking. And I wanted that too." Tom took her hands. "Then stay. Not because of the wish, but because you want to." She smiled. "I will." The next day, a group of travelers came to the village. They were a mix of alien kinds, some like Alari, others from different stars. They had heard of the tower that vanished and the man who made a wish with a crystal. Tom and Alari met them with open arms. One of the travelers, a young man with glowing eyes, asked Tom, "Is it true? You wished for love instead of power?" Tom nodded. "Power fades, love stays." The traveler smiled. "Then teach us, show us what that means." So Tom and Alari began a new chapter. They didn't run from the world. They helped shape it. More travelers arrived. They built homes. They planted trees. They shared stories. They worked together to create a place of peace. Max became a village favorite. The children followed him everywhere. Alari taught about energy that heals instead of harms. Tom taught how to build and repair. Together, they led without ruling. One day, years later, a new child was born in the village. She had silver eyes like Alari and a calm smile like Tom. Tom held her in his arms, and Alari stood beside him. "She is hope." Alari whispered. Tom nodded. "She's the future." The village grew, but it never forgot its roots. They placed a stone in the center with words carved into it. One wish changed everything, not for one person but for all. And high above them, the stars continued to shine, quiet, watchful, and full of light. Tom often stood outside at night, looking up. He remembered the moment he first saw Alari, the stone circle, the crystals glow, her soft voice saying, "You have one wish left," and his heart saying, "I want you." He didn't wish for escape. He didn't wish for power. He didn't wish for gold or glory. He wished for connection. He wished for love. He wished for someone who would walk beside him through fear, through time, through stars, and that wish became a life.